There is a moment in every great story when the map you trusted is torn in two. Allies are scattered, a burden grows heavier, and the horizon itself seems to change shape. The Two Towers is that moment for the Lord of the Rings, the middle of an epic where small choices ripple into huge consequences, and where courage, grief, and stubborn hope steer the fate of nations. In this video we will travel through every chapter of the Two Towers. I'll guide you from Boromir's last stand beneath the Monhen, across Rohan and into the halls of kings, into the deep wood of Fangorn, and then alongside Frodo and Sam through swamps, betrayals, and a darkness that tests the smallest hearts. Let's step back into Middle-earth. Book 3. As the Two Towers opens, we are thrust into aftermath and uncertainty. The Fellowship is broken, scattered across Middle-earth. The great river Anduin winds silently between the mountains, carrying with it the echoes of vows made and battles fought. There is no central quest party now, only fragments of loyalty, grief, and determination moving in different directions. This division is the essence of Book 3. Every thread follows a different path of courage and consequence. We follow Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli as they face loss and duty, Merry and Pippin as they stumble from terror into the oldest corners of the world, Gandalf, reborn, who begins to gather light against the storm, and the land of Rohan, a realm caught between age-old honor and creeping decay. The story's scope widens, its tone deepens. The world of men begins to take center stage, and the War of the Ring becomes not just a struggle of will, but a clash of civilizations and memory. Chapter 1. The Departure of Boromir. The book begins with sorrow. Aragorn comes to the glade beneath the Monhen, where Boromir has fallen defending Merry and Pippin from orcs. The signs of battle are all around. Arrows pierce Boromir's body, black-feathered shafts lie scattered. He sits upright against a tree, horn cloven in two, his sword still in hand. It is a moment of haunting stillness, the last echo of Boromir's valor. With his final breath, Boromir confesses. He tried to take the ring from Frodo, but failed and repented. He fought to the last to defend the hobbits. His dying words to Aragorn, "I have failed. Go to Minas Tirith and save my people," strike deep into Aragorn's heart. In that moment, Aragorn's path changes. He mourns not only the man but the symbol Boromir represented, the pride of men, the hope of Gondor, and the tragedy of ambition. When Legolas and Gimli arrive, the three companions honor Boromir as warriors do. They lay him in a boat, his body arrayed with weapons and his shield beneath him. They set him adrift down the great river, toward the sea, carried by the current in their prayers. It is both a farewell and a vow. The Fellowship may be broken, but their duty endures. Aragorn must now choose: follow Frodo, protect the ring-bearer, or rescue the captured hobbits. After deep struggle, he decides to pursue Merry and Pippin. "We will not abandon them to torment and death," he declares. That decision defines the road ahead. Chapter 2. The Riders of Rohan. The chase begins. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli pursue the orcs across the plains of Rohan, tireless and grim. For 3 days and nights they run, driven by hope and desperation. The land changes around them. Rolling grasslands stretch wide, dotted with ancient barrows and scattered stones. Wind whips the grass into waves. The sun burns overhead. Rohan is a place of history, open, proud, and watchful. They find traces of the orcs, ashes, footprints, broken gear, but no sign of the hobbits. When at last they meet riders approaching across the plain, they stand ready. The riders surround them, spears lowered. The leader is Eomer, nephew of King Theoden. He is young, proud, and weary of politics. Suspicion hangs in the air. Strangers have crossed Rohan's borders in dark times. Aragorn reveals his identity, showing the reforged sword and Duril, the flame of the West. The gesture transforms the mood. Eomer, recognizing the heir of Elendil, offers respect. He tells them of the battle with the orcs. His company slew many of them, burning the bodies by night, but found no halflings. His words carry grim uncertainty. The only hint of hope is a strange track leading into the forest. Before they part, Eomer lends them horses and friendship, saying, "You may yet find friends unlooked for in the land of Rohan." In this meeting, the world of men re-enters the story in full, complex, proud, and caught between isolation and honor. Chapter 3. The Uruk-hai. The narrative shifts sharply. We are now among the orcs themselves, trudging through the wilderness. Merry and Pippin are bound and beaten, driven like baggage through long marches. Their captors bicker endlessly. Some serve Isengard and Saruman, others Mordor and Sauron. The tension between these factions grows. Hatred festers, even within the ranks of darkness. Through exhaustion and fear, the hobbits cling to one another. Pippin uses his wits, cutting the rope that binds his hands, leaving small signs of their passage. The horror is not just the violence, but the confusion. They are pawns in a war they barely understand. When the orc bands quarrel over ownership of the captives, chaos erupts. The Uruk-hai, stronger and more disciplined, slaughter their rivals. Yet the infighting leaves them weakened. In the confusion near Fangorn Forest, as night falls and riders of Rohan approach, Merry and Pippin make their escape, crawling into the sheltering trees. The forest seems to welcome them, or at least to close around them with a will of its own. This chapter is raw and unsettling. It reminds us that evil is not unified, and that even in terror, courage can take the form of simple endurance. Chapter 4. Treebeard. In the cool, green twilight of Fangorn Forest, the hobbits encounter something wholly new. Treebeard, the oldest of living things. He is vast and slow, his voice deep as roots, his eyes like pools reflecting centuries. He is not an enemy, but neither is he immediately a friend. When he lifts Merry and Pippin and studies them, it is as though the forest itself has paused to judge. Treebeard listens to their story, of Saruman, of the ring, of the burning and cutting of trees. Slowly, something stirs within him, anger long restrained, grief turned to resolve. He takes them to his home at Wellinghall, and we see the ancient life of the Ents, the shepherds of the forest, each slow of speech but immense of memory. Time feels different here. Hours are days, and decisions take an age. The Entmoot follows, a gathering of Ents beneath the shadowed trees. Merry and Pippin wait anxiously, while the deep voices murmur and rumble like a storm forming in the distance. Finally, the forest answers. Treebeard declares, "We have just agreed, something to do with Saruman." It is a quiet statement, but behind it lies the might of nature itself rising in wrath. Chapter 5. The White Rider. Meanwhile, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli continue through the forest of Fangorn, following faint tracks. They sense movement among the trees, watchful eyes and shifting shapes. Then a blinding light. A figure in white appears, terrible and serene. For a moment, they think it is Saruman. But when he speaks, they know it is Gandalf. Gandalf the Grey has returned as Gandalf the White. His manner has changed, calmer, more commanding, as if he has passed through death and seen beyond it. He tells them of his battle with the Balrog in the deep places of the world, of fire and shadow, of falling and rising again. "I have been sent back," he says, "until my task is done." This reunion restores hope. Gandalf reveals the gathering storm in Rohan. King Theoden is under the influence of Saruman's agent, Wormtongue. They ride toward Edoras, knowing the fate of Rohan may decide the fate of all Middle-earth. Chapter 6. The King of the Golden Hall. They arrive at Meduseld, the Golden Hall of Rohan's kings. Theoden sits shrunken on his throne, grey and weary, his spirit clouded by despair. At his side lurks Grima Wormtongue, pale and whispering, the voice of Saruman within the king's ear. The hall that once rang with songs is heavy with silence and suspicion. Gandalf confronts Wormtongue. Words clash like blades. At last, Gandalf lifts his staff, and light fills the hall. Theoden's eyes clear, his strength returns. The spell of Saruman's deceit is broken. He stands tall again, throws off his old cloak, and takes his sword. "Arise now, Theoden King." Gandalf proclaims, and the old man answers with the pride of his ancestors. Wormtongue flees. The court stirs to life. Eowyn, Theoden's niece, shines with fierce dignity as she arms her uncle. Hope and resolve are rekindled in Rohan. Theoden rides forth to war, declaring that the horn of Helm Hammerhand shall sound once more. Chapter 7. Helm's Deep. Darkness gathers. Saruman's army marches upon Rohan, tens of thousands of Uruk-hai bred for war. Theoden leads his riders and people to the refuge of Helm's Deep, a stronghold carved into the mountains. Rain lashes the valley, the night is heavy with thunder. The defenders are few, farmers, old men, and soldiers weary from years of neglect. The siege begins with the roar of horns and the drumming of rain. Arrows fly, ladders crash against the walls. Gimli and Legolas fight side by side, keeping count of their kills with grim humor. Aragorn moves through the ranks, giving courage to the frightened. Amid chaos, even small acts of bravery matter. The deeping wall is breached by fire and craft. The defenders retreat into the Hornburg. At dawn, when all seems lost, Gandalf arrives. With him ride Eomer and the men of the Riddermark. They charge from the heights as sunlight breaks over the valley. The enemy scatters before them, driven into the forest, where the Huorns, dark trees awakened by Fangorn's will, close in. The victory is complete, but it is a weary triumph bought with blood. Chapter 8. The Road to Isengard. After the battle, Gandalf and the company ride toward Isengard. The land bears scars of war, burned fields, trampled grass, and black smoke rising in the distance. Yet when they reach the Vale of Isengard, they find an astonishing sight. Saruman's mighty fortress has been overthrown. The once industrial plain is now a lake, water flooding the pits and forges. Towering trees stand like sentinels among the wreckage. At the gates sit two hobbits, Merry and Pippin, smoking contentedly and welcoming their astonished friends. Their reunion is filled with laughter, disbelief, and stories shared. They learn of the Ents' march. Treebeard and his kin rose in fury, tearing down the machinery of Isengard and trapping Saruman in his tower. Nature itself has answered Saruman's destruction with its own justice. The power of industry is drowned beneath the patience of the forest. Chapter 9. Flotsam and Jetsam. In the ruins of Isengard, the companions explore what remains. Pippin and Merry tell of their time among the Ents, the long deliberation, the sudden storm of action, and the strange calm that follows victory. They share food and comfort, and for a moment there is peace. But amid the wreckage lies a lesson. War spares nothing, not even those who win. Aragorn, Gandalf, and Theoden walk among the debris of Saruman's ambition, twisted iron, shattered wheels, and drowned pits. The Ents' vengeance feels both just and melancholy. The world has shifted. Isengard, once the symbol of craft and intellect, now stands as a monument to arrogance undone. Chapter 10. The Voice of Saruman. The company confronts Saruman. High in the black tower of Orthanc, he appears, still proud, his voice smooth and persuasive. His words are a weapon. He speaks honeyed lies, promising peace, flattering Theoden, tempting Gandalf. One by one, he tries to turn them, weaving illusions of reason and regret. But Gandalf has changed. He listens, unmoved, and finally answers, "I am not Gandalf the Grey, whom you betrayed. I am Gandalf the White." He casts down Saruman's staff, shattering his last fragment of power. Wormtongue, lurking above, throws down the Palantir, a seeing stone that shatters the silence with its fall. Saruman's downfall is total. Intellect without wisdom, authority without humility. The White Council's once great leader is now a prisoner in his own tower. Chapter 11. The Palantir. The night after Isengard's fall brings unease. Pippin, restless and drawn by curiosity, steals the dark sphere Wormtongue threw. The Palantir burns with strange light. When he looks into it, terror grips him. A vast eye wreathed in fire stares back. Sauron's gaze pierces the veil. Pippin collapses, shaken and afraid. Gandalf seizes the stone, realizing its danger. Sauron believes Pippin to be the ring-bearer, and this misunderstanding might buy them time. Yet the event shows how thin the veil between good and evil has become, how curiosity and fate intertwine. Gandalf takes Pippin with him, riding swiftly toward Minas Tirith, for the storm that was long gathering is about to break. And thus ends Book 3, a book of renewal and warning, of new alliances born from ruin, and of the shadow of Mordor creeping ever closer. Book 4. Book 4 opens in shadow. The world of men and armies fades behind us, replaced by a lonely, grim path through the wilderness. Here, far from banners and battlefields, the fate of all rests on two small figures trudging eastward. Frodo and Sam, once part of a fellowship, now carry the ring alone through a land that grows darker and more desolate with every mile. Their journey is not of armies but of endurance, quiet, grueling, and inward. The great wars of kings may rage elsewhere, but this is the war within the heart. Through this book, Tolkien narrows the scale yet heightens the tension. The story becomes personal and psychological. The ring tightens its hold on Frodo. Sam's loyalty is tested beyond measure. And in the half-light of despair, a strange, pitiful guide appears, Gollum, both villain and victim, leading them toward a doom he cannot resist. Chapter 1: The Taming of Smeagol. We find Frodo and Sam alone among the barren hills, lost and weary, the weight of the ring pressing heavier with each step. The land is gray and cold, the air heavy with threat. They realize they are being followed, a shadow that moves when they rest and vanishes when they look. At last, they catch the stalker. With a sudden leap, they seize Gollum, the wretched creature who once possessed the ring. He writhes and hisses, his voice torn between fear and cunning. Sam is ready to strike him down, but Frodo stays his hand. Something in Gollum's misery touches him, perhaps pity, perhaps understanding. He commands Gollum to swear an oath on the ring to serve him as guide. Gollum obeys, trembling. The oath binds him, but his divided self, Smeagol the pitiful, Gollum the treacherous, begins to struggle within. Frodo's mercy wins him a servant, but also invites the corruption of trust and deceit. The journey now becomes a fragile triangle of need, suspicion, and reluctant kinship. As dawn breaks, the three set out together, each step drawing them closer to Mordor and deeper into moral twilight. Chapter 2: The Passage of the Marshes. Their path leads them into the Dead Marshes, a place where the ground oozes and whispers, where foul vapors curl like ghostly breath. Strange lights flicker beneath the water. Faces of the dead seem to float below the surface, men, elves, and orcs of some ancient battle long forgotten. Gollum guides them through the shifting bog, moving with the skill of one long used to darkness. Sam sees the dead faces and shudders, but Gollum warns them not to look too long, not to follow the lights. The marshes are a place where the living and the dead overlap, where history itself refuses to rest. The journey through this land is slow and exhausting. Frodo grows more distant, his mind half lost in the pull of the ring. Sam begins to sense it. The burden is changing his master, making him remote, almost untouchable. When they finally emerge from the marshes, the towers of Mordor glimmer faintly on the horizon, sharp and black. The world ahead is one of watchtowers and walls, where every movement feels observed. The air is heavy with dread. The ring grows heavier still. Chapter 3: The Black Gate is closed. At last, they reach the Black Gate, the iron jaws of Mordor. Its vast doors rise like cliffs, guarded by legions of soldiers. Fires burn in the distance, and the very earth seems scorched by fear. The gate is impenetrable. To pass through it would mean instant capture. Frodo's hope falters. The path has led them here, only to reveal its impossibility. He stands upon the ridge, watching the endless march of orcs and Easterlings filing through the gate, and despairs. The weight of the quest crushes him. The ring burns against his chest. Then Gollum speaks. "There is another way," he says, a secret path known only to him, through the mountains on the western edge of Mordor. He calls it the path of Cirith Ungol. Sam distrusts him fiercely, sensing deceit, but Frodo listens. They cannot turn back, and the ring whispers that forward is the only way. Frodo decides. They will take Gollum's hidden path. The gate closes behind them with a sound like thunder. They turn south, into shadows deeper than before. Chapter 4: Of Herbs and Stewed Rabbit. The land beyond the gate grows gentler for a time. Grass returns, small streams run among the rocks, and birds sing faintly. Sam, ever the gardener, finds joy in this brief reprieve. He insists on cooking a proper meal, gathering herbs and rabbits. The simple act of boiling stew becomes an act of defiance, a human moment in a world turning monstrous. As Sam cooks, Frodo rests, pale and weary. Gollum watches them both with twitching suspicion, muttering to himself, torn between jealousy and hunger. In this quiet space, their uneasy bond is laid bare. Sam still sees Gollum as a liar. Frodo pities him, seeing what he might become. When Gollum looks at Frodo, it is as though he sees a reflection of his own lost self, what he was before the ring devoured him. Their fragile peace is broken when a company of soldiers from Gondor passes nearby, men of the West, grim and silent, marching toward the war they cannot win. The world's great battles are closing in around the small trio, though they move unseen among them. Chapter 5. The Window on the West. Their journey leads them into Ithilien, a land of green hills and hidden streams, once a garden of Gondor, now a battlefield reclaimed by nature. From a high ridge, Frodo looks westward and sees the far lands of his world. For a moment, he remembers peace, the Shire, laughter, and warmth. The sight fills him with longing and despair. The beauty of the world is fading, and he cannot return to it. They make camp near a waterfall. It is there they are captured by Faramir, captain of Gondor and brother of Boromir. The encounter brims with tension. Faramir is cautious but noble. His gaze pierces Frodo's guarded words. When he learns of Boromir's death, grief clouds his face, but not bitterness. He senses the truth behind Frodo's mission and tests him gently, never forcing his will. Where Boromir sought the ring with desire, Faramir resists it with wisdom. Faramir offers them rest and food. Beneath the hidden window of Henneth Annan, they share uneasy conversation, of Gondor's fading power, of duty, of temptation. Frodo feels trust stirring again in his heart. The shadow of the ring dims, if only for a night. Chapter 6. The Forbidden Pool. Before dawn, Frodo is awakened by Faramir's men. Gollum has been caught fishing in the sacred pool beneath the waterfall, a place forbidden by Gondor's law. Faramir demands justice. Frodo must choose, let Gollum be slain, or betray the fragile trust between them. He pleads for mercy. Faramir relents, understanding that Frodo's pity runs deeper than reason. Gollum is spared, but now he knows he was betrayed. His eyes flash with wounded rage and despair. The bond between him and Frodo weakens. Yet even in this, Frodo stands by his compassion. He knows that without Gollum, they cannot reach Mordor. Faramir, moved by their resolve, gives them provisions and guidance. He warns of the path ahead, Cirith Ungol, a name that chills even seasoned warriors. There are things older and fouler than orcs in those high places, he says. Frodo nods. He must go. Chapter 7. Journey to the Crossroads. Frodo, Sam, and Gollum travel through ruined lands where once men of Gondor lived. The ruins lie silent, ivy climbing the walls, old statues leaning like ghosts of kings. The wind whispers through the grass with the sound of forgotten voices. Gollum grows restless and secretive again, muttering of his precious and the darkness that awaits. They reach the crossroads, 4 ancient roads meeting beneath a broken statue of a king. The head of the statue lies fallen, covered in moss. But as the sunset falls, a golden beam touches the stone face, lighting the crown of flowers that has grown upon it. For a brief moment, Frodo feels a flicker of hope, a sign that even in ruin, beauty and light endure. They press onward into gathering darkness. Gollum leads them toward the mountains. The air grows foul, the stars fade behind black mist, and the weight of destiny bears down heavier than ever. Chapter 8. The Stairs of Cirith Ungol. The mountains rise before them, jagged and cruel. Gollum guides them up narrow paths, through choking air and treacherous stone. The climb is endless, the road cut like scars across the cliffs. Sam supports Frodo when he stumbles, whispering encouragement, though fear gnaws at him. Gollum's behavior shifts. He is obedient and sly by turns, servile yet brooding. In the shadows, his darker self whispers. He begins to plan, to reclaim his precious through deceit. Yet part of him, the broken Smeagol, still feels some warmth toward the hobbits. It is a tragic battle of selves, one that neither side can win. The climb pushes them to the edge of endurance. The smell of sulfur taints the air. Mordor looms close, and something else lurks ahead. Gollum's eyes gleam with hidden fear. "We're almost there," he murmurs. "She'll show you the way." Chapter 9. Shelob's Lair. They enter a tunnel blacker than night, the air thick and stifling. The walls are slick, the silence absolute. Sam feels the dread long before the attack comes. The creature waiting in the dark is Shelob, the ancient spider, spawn of shadows, hunger given form. Her web clings to every wall, her lair reeks of decay. Gollum slips away, leaving them to the horror he promised. Frodo and Sam fight through the dark, cutting webs, stumbling blindly. Then Shelob descends, vast, glistening, monstrous. Frodo strikes with the light of Galadriel's file, crying, Aya Erendela Lenien Ankalima. The light flares, burning the shadow. Shelob recoils, hissing. But she strikes again, and Frodo falls, stung and paralyzed. Sam, believing Frodo dead, fights alone. In one of the most powerful moments of the tale, the humble hobbit faces a terror beyond imagination. He drives Sting into Shelob's belly, forcing her back into her pit. The spider retreats, wounded, leaving Sam trembling beside his fallen friend. Chapter 10. The Choices of Master Samwise. Sam kneels beside Frodo, his heart breaking. He takes the ring, knowing that the quest must go on. The decision is unbearable, yet he makes it with purest love. "I'll do it," he whispers. "I'll carry it, though I don't know the way." The burden falls upon him, small, afraid, but resolute. He sets out, invisible beneath the ring's power, determined to finish what Frodo began. But when orcs discover Frodo's body, Sam hides and listens, only to learn Frodo is not dead, merely paralyzed. Despair turns to wild hope. Sam must now save him from captivity. This final chapter ends on a knife's edge, hope and horror intertwined. Sam is alone in Mordor, bearing the greatest burden of all, his courage the only light in the dark. Book 4 closes in shadow but not in defeat. The great armies move unseen beyond the horizon, yet here in the dark, the true battle is fought, not with swords, but with mercy, loyalty, and will. Frodo's strength wanes, Gollum's treachery ripens, and Sam's devotion becomes the heart of the story. The world of the Two Towers is a world at tipping point, where even the smallest act of kindness or courage might alter the fate of all. Book 3 shows the clash of powers. Book 4 reveals the quiet endurance that makes victory possible. In the darkness of Mordor, Tolkien reminds us, light does not vanish when it is smallest. It burns most brightly when all else has fallen into night.